important. Our co-host 𝙒𝙖𝙩𝙤𝙤 explains what is happening in Kiev right now, even as we speak. 𝙒𝙖𝙩𝙤, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, good morning to all, or good evening to you, depending on whichever part of the world you are in. Sriji, I think as we came into the show, breaking out news is that Russia is back, hitting center of Kiev with, from the air with the missiles. The missile strikes are going on while his ground forces regroup and in preparation for whatever is to come, including the Zaporizhia nuclear plant around that area. There has been strikes. So it's a very fascinating story. I think the key headline we talked about is world heading towards an economic tsunami. I think it's more appropriate to say, is the world a leaderless world heading towards an unpredictable outcome with unpredictable events being unfolding? You got Xi Jinping, you got North Korea, you got Iran, you have Russia, and you have no leadership either in Europe or no leadership in United States. Biden is leading the world to an unmitigated kind of a disaster. And take it back 2 years ago, what the situation was with Trump and where we are today.
𝙒𝙗𝙩𝙤, Biden is being misled by many groups inside the Democratic Party. We have been calling out the progressives as being rash, being irrational, and being loudmouth about everything they tried to do. Bernie Sanders, I don't know what exactly his bone is with the Democratic Party apparatus. He has done most of this damage because it was because of him that they all got this kind of a brash attitude about themselves. Anyway, this is really hurt his presidency. You are absolutely right, sir. Now let's take a quick look at other things. But before that, viewers, please like this video. There's a lot of new stuff that is coming out. You're not going to find this thing in CNN or Politico or any mainstream media till like several hours. So here is the first look at some of the things that is happening. First off, please tune in on Saturday at 11 a.m. IST for an update on what is the Xi Jinping's plan. Who does he want to invade first? And it is not what you think it is. So this is going to be a surprise item. 𝙒𝙗𝙩𝙤 and I will be hosting. 𝙒𝙗𝙩𝙤 will be our guest for that. And he's done a lot of research. We are getting a lot of data on that one. So stay tuned. Don't miss that one. Next question. 𝙒𝙗𝙩𝙤, in this Ukraine war, now again, a lot of the Western European nations are falling behind Ukraine. However, there are many, internal differences, such as France and Germany have some differences. Everybody is getting ready for a no Russia oil/gas world. How are those things coming along, sir?
Well, I think that they're very well moving along the track of, de-accelerating or decoupling from the Russian gas. What does that mean? That means two things. The nuclear power stations are back on track. So many of the nuclear power stations within Europe are being rebooted. In fact, there was a move from Scandinavian countries, which is to say that nuclear fuel should be considered as part of the so-called, the green energy. The second that is happening, unbeknownst, coal stations are being fired up. So therefore, coal is back. And this is one of the strategic deterrences as to why Asia is not facing a similar amount of energy crisis, basically because Asia doesn't use LNG and gas to fire up many of the things that Europe does. Europe is only reliant on gas as well as the fuel. So now they are firing up the nuclear. They're going back to coke. They're going back to the coal powered stations, including Germany. Otherwise, they will face shutdown of their steel mills. So we are back into, and Germany has made an explicit pledge that they will not be relying on Russian gas anymore, and they will phase it out eventually to almost non-reliance.
𝙒𝙗𝙩𝙤, it's easy for for Germany and France to say that we will be free of Russian gas. How about the lesser-known republics who used to be part of USSR? Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic, Slovakian Republic, some of the smaller nations. How are they placed today, sir?
Well, I think that you can divide the world into basically in Europe into three groups. First and foremost is the most advanced nations. I think they will quickly unbundle. It remains to be seen. We'll soon come out with from what's happening in UK, but certainly the main line, Europe, the most developed, is moving forward. The second, you have the mid-tier nations like the Scandinavian nations and so on. They have a combination of nuclear and fossil fuel. So they can fire up using the fossil fuel. And so they probably will go back into that. And then you have, the smaller nations, the third group, they probably will look to Europe, or they may continue to persist with their dependency on Russia, and Russia may choose to support them. So you will begin to see, this
stratification.
Stratification and phased approach of devolution, Shriji.
Thank you very much, sir. And now let us take a quick look at what is happening in the United States. Now, suddenly, Biden is realizing that he is on a slippery slope as far as the midterm elections are concerned. He is saying that inflation is a concern. He's also saying that we need to get ready for whatever China is thinking of doing. Has he said anything about reopening the shale field, sir?
Zero. He has not said anything about shale. He has not said anything about increasing the supply. He's not said anything about opening up the licenses that were suspended. The CEOs of the energy industry have been, making a huge statements day after day, and nothing has come out of it. Even worse, we talked about 25 days of diesel. He said it's not a choice, and we have to come up with an alternate, and we will be shortly coming up with a plan. There's no plan on the diesel side as well. It has already hit the eastern seaboard of United States.
So United States also is going to feel the pain a little bit, but I don't know when this change in thinking is going to go on. If the Europe is dropping all its climate change goals, what is preventing US from doing so? Because this is a situation, it is not something that is of their own making. It has been forced upon them. A power thinks that they can hold the world to ransom using energy, and United States needs to respond in the best possible way that it can, especially in the light of the knowledge that OPEC has also decided to cut the production. So this is all everybody is trying to, make hay while the sun shines. That's all I can see, sir. And one last question back to that Ukraine air raids. In the past, when Russia attacked, Ukraine was able to ward it off with stingers and javelins. What has changed, sir?
Drones. Drones. They don't have a deterrence mechanism as yet for drones. They're also probably using other types of targets. Also, it's, one has to look at what the resources of Ukraine. Ukraine's resources are probably military resources are depleted unless more replenishments come, including this missile, anti-missile system. They are not going to be in a position to defend. So Russia is blowing up, but Russia is prepared to, because it is hell-bent on inflicting the punishment on the Ukrainians. By the way, they have also started their nuclear drills, which will conclude either today or tomorrow. So they got the nuclear drills, they have the drone missile strikes, then they have the ground forces getting ready for the battle. So Russia is all set, they are not holding back. And Ukraine is all set and not holding back. They're prepared to do their ground fight, but while they wait for resources, especially for the missile shield.
Sridharji, yesterday you mentioned about Zaporizhia and that there were some nuclear rods missing. Have those been traced, sir?
No, they have not been. Apparently, there is some construction work that is going on, which is reported by the Ukrainian Nuclear Agency. There is a fear, but you can take it with a pinch of salt. There's a fear that whether there is something being done and some kind of an inadvertent attack means that there is radiation. So which can point to, either side can point finger, but at the end of the day, it's a disaster in that part of the world. Right? Remember Chernobyl. If you remember Chernobyl, what happened?
That's also in Ukraine, yeah.
Exactly. So I think These guys know, they have done it before. And, I'm not suggesting it's Russia, I'm not suggesting it's Ukraine, but it is fight at all costs. And I think we are heading towards not a great situation, at least from that specific region is concerned, Sriji.
Thank you, sir. And viewers, US is now starting to test a lot of hypersonic missiles. If you remember, maybe about 100 episodes ago, we had talked about how US appears to not have a hypersonic missile strategy. However, they have been quietly developing it. Now they are testing a series of hypersonic missiles. 𝙒𝙪𝙤𝙤, what is the Mach speed of these? Do you have any idea, sir?
No, I don't have. I will check it up and let you know. But hypersonic weapon systems are considered to be the most sophisticated in this category. Now we can report that silently, United States has been testing. It's April they have tested, March they have tested, August they have tested, and today they tested, or today a few days ago they tested 12 simultaneous hypersonic launchers. Probably sending a message to Russia and China. But having said that, I'll wait for you to, I'll pause for a minute and then we'll go to a very important item, Sriji.
Yes, sir. And Australia has now conducted a poll of sorts, and they say that 50% of Australians support sending their troops to the aid of Taiwan should China attack. So this is a big news event, sir, because democracies don't make up their mind so quickly. So a little bit more on that, and also the other thing that you wanted to share with us.
Right. I think the most important thing, what is going on here is the world believes that Taiwan has been a responsible power. It is the largest source of supply for a very important item which is used by all human beings around the world, which is the chips, semiconductor. So they are the largest producer. They have been responsible. And to target that, and all this Taiwan reunification is a Xi Jinping agenda. It's not an agenda. Remember, when they took over, the communist revolution happened and they took over, they drove out the rebels, which went in and set up an independent nation called, or independent province called Taiwan, or Republic of China, ROC, right? And then all of a sudden under Xi Jinping, this has come into providence, and the world is saying it's not acceptable. So you will see more nations supporting it. But the most astonishing thing, sorry, Sriji.
No, please finish your thought, sir.
The most astonishing thing, this is why I say we are in a leaderless and rudderless ship, is Mr. Biden addressing the defense and the national security officials and saying, we do not want a conflict with China, but we want competition with China. This is to the defense and security officials in the middle of this situation. What would you expect, Sriji?
No, this was very boneheaded on his part, sir, if I can dare to say so. Also, in the light of the news coming from the Department of Justice that the probe on Hunter Biden is almost complete. So this is a big news, sir. Where do you think that's going to go take this presidency?
They have a very able, supportive, willing Department of Justice, which is leaking information about Republican candidates, which is leaking information about President Trump's legal battles. You believe that in connivance with media, they have successfully navigated this whole Hunter Biden story? Without DOJ, nothing can happen. FBI is the investigating agency, DOJ is the enforcement, and they have to file. If you have a supportive DOJ, doesn't matter what you conclude and what you complete. Nothing will happen, Sriji.
So that's something that we are going to keep an eye on, because, well, who knows? Tables could turn in 2 weeks' time, and the Republicans could be November 8th, right, 10 days, in fact. And the Republicans could be a majority in both Congress and Senate. All I'm saying is that this can make life very difficult for President Biden. Lastly, about India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi just inaugurated a greenfield airport in Itanagar, and India is very busy building more roads along the borders. 𝙒𝙪𝙤𝙤, quietly, even though India might not be trying to drive back the encroachments that China has done, they are preparing for a conflict all along the LAC. That's how I see it, sir. Your thoughts?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think India is silently working away. They have been supporting Bhutan. They have also been, notwithstanding many attempts by China, they have also been supportive of Nepal, especially around the energy side. They've been supplying silently the fuel, much needed fuel to Nepal. So Nepal, Bhutan, they are securing. Infrastructure is being built. They have also been testing various versions of their BrahMos missiles. They have now built, I think we covered this in DGI, they have a western flank now established around DISA with, I think, maybe some of the listeners or some of the audiences tuned in and talked about Tejas and MiG squadron being stationed there. So you have Mr. Modi and his entourage, preparing itself, recognizing its turn may come, but it is ready and prepared to act in the event Mr. Xi Jinping does anything mischievous in that region.
Thank you very much, 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪. And that brings us to a close of today's episode of Daily Global Insights. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. And if you like our content, the delivery, the time, the speed at which we are doing it, please show us your appreciation by clicking on the super thanks button. 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪, namaskar, and we will again assemble tomorrow about 24 hours from now to talk about what is changing around the world. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day or have a great evening.